son? Is that really you?
Now, who else would it be, Viki? I'm one of a kind. Don't you know that by now?
I have missed you. Oh, I'm sorry, you're on the phone.
I'm on hold.
With whom?
I'm trying to get him to move me to a higher floor.
Well, if anyone can do it, you can.
How'd you get up here?
Car crash with Dorian. She insisted I drive and the brakes were bad.
And you died. And she didn't.
I assume so. Unless maybe she's someplace a little warmer.
Can you stay for a while?
Well, it depends. You've been a very bad girl.
This isn't my fault. I wasn't even
I'm not
driving.
talking about that, Dorian. You drugged Vicky's boyfriend and poured a fifth of vodka down his throat. You know what a terrible time I had staying off the booze. And you do to this kid what? When he's doing everything he possibly can to stay away from the booze, you pour it down his throat. It's obscene, girl.
It was necessary. I had a really huge deal riding on his silence.
Well, then why don't you just shoot him? After all, you're Dorian Lord. You deserve whatever you get. I'm sure the jury would be most understanding. After all, it's you.
I hate it when you're sarcastic.
And I hate it when you demean yourself by hurting other people. You preyed on that man's weakness.
I'm a businesswoman. I use whatever means are necessary.
Why? Why was it so important for you to take over Buchanan Enterprises?
It's a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate.
Oh, try again.
I don't know what you mean.
You didn't care about Buchanan Enterprises or Kramer Enterprises or whatever you call it. That was a little coup you pulled to hurt Clint. To hurt Clint for hurting you.
And he was supposed to walk away unscathed?
What were you doing with Clint Buchanan anyway?
What was I supposed to do? Throw myself on a funeral pyre just because you were gone?
No. You're supposed to find yourself a warm, compassionate guy with a decent sense of humor and try and let him make you happy.
You're a very difficult man to replace.
It's not about me, is it? Because you're doing it again, Dorian.
What are you talking about?
You're living in reaction to Vicky. Why should you try and lead your own life?
Then again, Dorian may very well have survived. It wouldn't be the first time.
Well, all I can say is you're here and she's back home. There really is no justice.
I'm so sorry about B.E.
I've got Clint working on it. The boy turned out to have a real knack for getting things done. He reminds me of me.
That's what I'm afraid of.
What's that supposed to mean?
Okay, if this isn't heaven, where the hell are we?
We're at the ranch.
And it's 1968.
Well, let's start with what we do know. You're Rex, I'm Bo.
And I came down here to stop you from taking a certain ride, which you took, and here we are. Delphina was right. This is a serious disaster.
Well, it could be worse.
How?
You could be Pa.
No. I just heard you all right? Jared Banks, what are you doing here?
Who's Jared Banks? I should have known. You're responsible for this, aren't you?
For getting you two struck by lightning? Of course not, Pa. I'm sorry, did you just call him Pa?
Well, little brother, what would you like me to call him?
Little brother?
Well, you're growing, but you still got a ways to go into that, right, Pa? Paulson?
Yeah.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
Everything Clint did was for his family. And I don't want you or anybody saying anything against him. What are you smiling about?
I've missed you. And your temper.
Well, I missed you. Stubborn, uppity, think you always know best. beautiful face. Don't you worry. Everything is gonna be all right.
Thank you, Lisa.
Gotta take this. Now, what was so all fired important that you kept me on hold?
I've missed him.
Okay, whatever you say.
You want him back? My great-grandfather is a handful.
Well, it's nice to know some things don't change up here. Get over how much you remind me of Jessica.
I'm glad.
Megan, is this really happening? I mean, is my life on Earth truly over?
Where you go from here is up to you. It's always been up to you. Go on.
Elvis? I'm here to see Elvis? Hey! Back off, kid! Keep your paws off of him, because he's mine.
Do what you want. Just leave my little girl alone.
But you left my child alone?
What are you talking about?
Johnny D, you remember Tina. First you seduced him, then you killed him.
I had nothing to do with that. Nicky Smith shot him.
Nicky Smith? You're in heaven? You don't get it yet, do you? See, I go where you go, and you go where I go. Which means if I go downstairs, you're going downstairs. So, what's up, kid? You happy now that I'm dead? I'm fine, thank you. Man, you never change. This is heaven. Loosen up, for Pete's sakes. And I mean it. You keep your paws off the king. Toots, do me a favor. Go get me a scotch, huh? Go to the bar I like, the one upstairs. Me and Nicky Vicky, we got a little catching up to do, you know. So, kid, what's up? What are you doing here? Well, I might ask you the same thing. You know, kid, you always needed me to keep it real for you. You know, deal with all the stuff that you were scared of. And I guess you still do, because otherwise you wouldn't be here talking to me now, would you?
So,